Okay, so today we're gonna answer some questions on the internet. What should I do before moving in? Here's the gist of it. They finally got an accepted offer after a year-long search. They lost out on 7 houses, but they're pretty excited. The house isn't perfect, and they're really excited to make it their own. There's some work that absolutely needs doing before we move in, like doing electrical. But because we have a flexible lease, we want to make a longer checklist of things to do. What should we do before moving in? So here's my thing. I always tell clients, think about things you can't move. What I mean by that, I think of floors and walls. If you want to do new hardwood floors or refinish them or add carpet, do that before you move in, because taking all your stuff up, putting it into another room, is probably gonna be a logistical nightmare. And then same thing with the walls. You don't want to take anything off the walls, and then if you have to paint, you have to put plastic down, and it can be really annoying. Some other big ones to consider, yes, is electrical. Like, I would probably want to update the electrical before I move in, because to do that, they have to take out the drywall. Plumbing is another big one. Sometimes, depending on how many bathrooms you have. So if you have 2 bathrooms and you're doing plumbing in one, you could probably use the other one, and it kind of makes it a little bit easier. If you have 1 bathroom and you're trying to remodel it, then you probably won't have a bathroom for maybe 4 weeks, 8 weeks, depending on what you want to do. Kitchen, another big one. If you're doing like a full gut remodel, maybe you want to do that before you move in, because living through that might be tough because you only got 1 kitchen. How do I fire my realtor? Okay, this is a long one. I'll again try to get the gist of it, but just looking for some advice. We were recommended a realtor by our parents, just word of mouth. Everything was great, but come to find out, she's no longer a realtor. Her license expired. So they got passed on to another realtor, and it just seems like they're waiting for him to come around. We wanted to see a house, and I was told that he was out of town. We said, okay, fine. We waited a week, confirmed he was able to see it that week. We showed up to the house at our scheduled times. He had a mix-up. We did not get to see the house. We had to see it the next day. We got a text that morning that said he needed to reschedule to Sunday. Honestly, that's fine. I get it, but it's getting frustrating, especially knowing this house might not be there in a few days. How do we part ways? Do we call? Do we text? What do we do? This is an interesting one. What's funny is I kind of get this a lot, not because people want to fire me. I get this from friends and family that might be using another realtor, and they say, hey JP, I'm having an issue, what do I do? I try to be understanding, like things happen. Like I have a child, we've had to pick him up in the middle of the day, family issues, car broke down, things happen. And I think you need to address your concerns when it happens. Give them the opportunity to correct that habit. Say, hey, heads up, we really need someone that's gonna be on top of things. Is this gonna be an issue? We just wanna know. Address it, give them the opportunity to fix it. If they don't fix it, just part ways. Be as civil as possible. Hey, this isn't working out for us. We want X, Y, and Z. We don't think you're gonna be able to deliver it. So sorry, thank you for everything. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to call them out. Just simple text or even a call, let them know, go from there. I'm having stress/cold feet about a self-managing HOA. This is a really good one because we see this in Chicago a lot. So I'm currently under contract for a 3-unit construction, and which requires an HOA that I'm told. The builders have set up an HOA that will eventually be passed by the owners once all the units are sold. Very common. I'm getting a bit stressed out about how messy this could be. I've never been in this situation. Does anyone have similar experiences they can share? This house has everything we want, but I'm starting to wonder if this potential self-management is going to be an issue in the future. Really good one. Here's my thing about HOAs. You're never going to like them. There's always something that you think is wrong that they're doing. There's self-managed HOAs and there's professionally managed. And I think there's good and bad with both. With a professionally managed HOA, they probably have a list 2 pages long of everything that needs to be done for the next year. They're making sure that the health of the building is good, outside maintenance, they're making sure that things are working in order. They're doing those things on a regular basis. The bad about it is sometimes I feel with bigger HOAs, they don't have that, I would say, personal touch. They are just going to do it because it needs to be done. With self-managed HOAs, I've lived in a self-managed building, and the good with it is you actually know what's going on a lot more. Like you have an opportunity to read almost every single document. You feel like you're part of the process. You have a vote, and you do have a vote with professionally managed buildings, but you really feel that vote in self-managed. Here's the bad. Most of the time in a self-managed building, no one is an actual professional licensed manager of an HOA. Like everyone's just kind of taking their turn. But here's the thing with self-managed buildings is no one on that board is probably a licensed homeowner associations manager. Everyone's just taking turns trying to figure out everything as they go along, and things are probably gonna slip through the cracks. I think the most important thing to know is that the HOA is well managed. Whether that's self-managed or professionally done, do they have a budget? Do they have a timeline for things to be completed? Do they have a history of things being done? That's what's really important. Should I purchase a home that needs work? So this couple seems like they bought a home that needed a little bit of work. After inspection, our inspector said that we need to replace most of the windows, at least 9 of them, but eventually we need to replace 16 to 18 in total. The window frames have a little bit of rot in them, but also the building needs masonry work, and those are the things that are very immediate. Other things to consider, AC, furnace are pretty old and could stop at any time soon. After getting an estimate for the masonry work and the windows, it would be around $40,000 total, maybe more. Should we purchase this home? Should we move forward? Do we ask the price to be reduced, or is this not worth it at all? To me, this comes down to value. If the home is valued after repairs over the amount that the repairs you're going to be doing, then it's worth it. To keep it simple, if the home is worth $500,000 and it needs $100,000 worth of repairs, but you paid $350,000 for it, the value's there. Now, if the home is worth $500,000 and it needs $100,000 worth of repairs and you paid $450,000 for it, maybe not a good price. So our question really was, should we move forward with it, or should we back out or ask for a reduced price? And all of those depends on the situation. Yes, you can ask for a reduced price. Typically, I've seen people ask for $5,000 to $15,000, but it also depends on the seller and what you're asking for. If the furnace is 20 years old and it still worked and it worked during inspection, they're probably not gonna give you a new furnace. If there was an active leak in the roof and there was an issue, they might not give you a new roof, they might credit to get it fixed, but like I said, the situations are all gonna be different. Should they move forward with the purchase? Also depends on how comfortable you are with those kind of projects. These aren't things that you can just snap your fingers like a HGTV show and it's already done in a weekend. Some of these things will probably take months in order to complete. So should you buy the home? What are you comfortable with?